It is now 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order. The notice is posted on the town hall and on the town hall's website. Please rise for the singing of the Pledge of Allegiance. Inspect your Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I shook it up a little. Can I get a motion for the adoption of tonight's agenda?
I make a motion to accept the agenda of the May 13th Town of Lake Mills agenda.
I second the agenda motion. It has been moved for the adoption of the agenda. Is there any further discussions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carries for adoption of tonight's agenda. Can I get a motion for approval of the minutes from March 11th, 2025?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the March 11th Town of Lake Mills Town Board meeting.
I second the motion. It is moved for the approval of the minutes from March 11th, 2025. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries for the approval of minutes from March 11th, 2025. Can I get a motion for the approval of the minutes from April 10th, 2025?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the Lake Mills Town Board meeting from April 10th.
It is moved for the approval of the minutes from April 10th. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to second that motion. Motion is seconded. It's moved to approve the minutes from April 10th, 2025. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed say nay.
I'll abstain, I wasn't at the meeting.
Motion carries for the approval of the minutes from April 10th. Can I get a motion for the approval of the treasurer's report?
I make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Second?
It is moved for the approval of the treasurer's report. Is there any further discussion? Cool. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries for the approval of the treasurer's report. Can I get a motion for the approval of the town board expense sheets?
And I don't think we had any in the disbursements this month.
Okay,
Next month we will, because we'll have yours.
all right, great. We'll skip that one. Can I get a motion for the approval of the general fund vouching?
I'm not exactly familiar with what that is. Can I
So
have
that
an
would be-
explanation of that?
Yep, that would be the list of disbursements that we prepared checks for tonight. So that would be on the treasurer's report of the documents that Sharon had emailed to you.
Okay,
And the total this month is $72,188. You wanna look at mine quick?
yes,
Okay,
please.
go ahead.
When was this email?
When did you email that out? Was it Saturday?
Saturday.
Not sure I saw it.
Did you not get any of them?
Oh, I got a lot of emails. I got the emails from Robin, I just
Yeah.
don't feel like I saw this.
Okay, we'll double check and just make sure, because with all the new emails, we'll make sure they're all working right.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I think it came through on 3 different documents.
Yeah,
It was
they're,
April, May.
yeah, so how she usually sends it out is you'll see the May treasurer's report as one document in the attachment. A separate attachment will be the previous month's revenues. So that's what this page is. And then it'll be a listing of this month's disbursements that we're gonna be approving at the next meeting, so like tonight.
Thank you.
Yep.
So is there a motion to approve the general fund vouching?
I make a motion to approve the May general fund vouching.
Is there a second?
A second.
No problem. I will second that motion. It is moved for approval of the town board's general vouching fund. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries for approval of the general fund vouching. Reports. Police report, Chief Kaminsky.
Okay, so for the month of April, we had a total of 11 hours in patrol time. During that time, there were 5 traffic stops, 4 traffic citations were issued. We also did park checks during those patrol shifts as well, and followed up on 1 complaint. There was also a lot of training time last month for our officers, between myself, Kevin, and one of our officers. We need to get our training hours, annual training hours in before June, so we're just trying to get everything up to snuff so we all have our training time in, so.
Is that the training time for the boat?
Everything.
Oh, everything.
So we have to have 24 hours of training time per year to maintain our certification.
Got it.
So somebody like Kevin generally gets that through his full-time work. Brian and I get that through here because this is our primary job, even though it's part-time, it's still our primary job. Kevin is one of our instructors as well, though, so we did a lot of firearms training, so Kevin is involved in that since he's our firearms instructor. So, but we also had other training throughout the month, and so I believe checking on everything, we're all up to training. And we had boat training, but that'll be for the May report. We just did boat training last week, so
Awesome.
That's our report.
Awesome. Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Chief Russ, you're here with City of Lake Mills. You want to give your report?
Commission first? Or?
Oh, I guess, yes, Planning Commission report, excuse me.
Didn't want you to jump in.
I wrote it in blue over here, so that's why I skipped ahead already.
That's usually,
Planning Commission
your
report.
role as the rep on that.
Okay, so with regard to the Plan Commission, the only items we discussed are items 10A, B, and C below. And I assume we'll discuss those at that time.
And what was the recommendation by the?
The recommendation by the Plan Commission was to approve all 3 requests.
Okay, thank you, John. Now we'll start with you. Chief Russ,
All right.
City of Lake Mills.
Good evening and congratulations on your respective positions. So every month I send out to Robin, and she should be dispersing to you the run statistics that we keep at the fire department. It kind of gives you an overview of what the fire department's doing, the type of calls that we're going out. There's one sheet that kind of goes over that. It doesn't give any details, so we're not breaking HIPAA when it comes to any sort of medical or anything like that. I try to break it up, show you what the department's doing, like what days of the week are busy. Are we busy on weekends? Are we busy during the week? Hours of the day? Are we busy overnight? Are we busy during the daytime? And what you'll see is there's pretty much a consistency of the time of day that we're busy is during the daytime, the Monday through Friday. Hence is why there's 2 of us that are staffed at the station down there, so it kind of explains our staff model. But it just gives you guys as the town leadership over here to see what we're doing as a fire department. And then I normally just give you guys a little bit of an update. So the 27th, McDonald's is hosting its 2nd annual Touch a Truck event. Talk with Chief Kaminsky about possibly coming down maybe with the new boat. Last year's event went really, really well. It starts at 5 o'clock. By 4:30, the kids were already lined up. Can't wait to get in, so it was a good event. Had a lot of people that went through. And then it is a fundraising event for the fire department. Last year, I want to say it was like a $900 donation or something like that was raised. So it's a good event to get us out in the public. You'll see that one of the things as the chief of the fire department I like to do is to get us out in the public. Last year we did pop-up splash pads. We do the MDA, fill the boot. We help out at Town and Country Days with Slider Fest in the trailer. We pick up a day in the slider hut to make sliders. So we like to get out in the community, and last year, I want to say we did like 33 public events throughout the area. So we try to stay pretty active in the community, and the community really seems to appreciate it. So this week I've got 4 members of my department heading down to what's called MAFC. It's the Metro Atlanta Firefighters Conference, and people might think, well, geez, why do you go so far away? The nice part is it's a different view on how they do tactics and stuff that we may not normally see up here, or skills that they've learned that we can bring back to here. So got a group of 4 going down for that. May 29th is our quarterly meeting. Robin knows all about the town board, whether you have to announce it and publicly file showing that you're going to be there or not. This was something that when I came here, it sounded like it was between Town of Lake Mills and Town of Milford. Really, we're kind of wanting this quarterly meeting for you guys to have a representative, the Town of Waterloo, Town of Milford, Town of Aslan, City all to sit down and talk about stuff that's happening at the fire department, to give you heads up as to when we're purchasing things, CIP projects, budgets, things like that. I took it as it was one of my initiatives that this was supposed to be happening, so I just really wanted to make sure that it was going on, in which I want to say this is like our 3rd one now, so 3rd or 4th one. So that will be May 29th at 6 p.m. at the fire station. I believe Drake is going to be there. Sam from finance will be there, so if there's any budget questions, you can ask her any questions that are available there. And then I believe one of the board members might also be there. So, and then CIP projects. This year we've completed our CIP projects for the year. The city, we like to have a 5-year outlook as to what our major purchases are. Every department, so me as the fire department chief, I'd look out, and now this next year is 2029 and 30 that we're kind of looking at as to what are we going to be expecting in the fire department and where we have to go. And one of the things as the chief that I like to see from my budgetary standpoint is not to have our 3 heavy pieces of equipment all due for replacement at the same time. I try to get those spread out based on NFPA standards of how long of service they're supposed to be. What that does is it gives you a flatter borrowing packages, so that way it's over the course of a period of time versus all 3 heavy units come due at one time. And when I say heavy unit, that's an engine pumper, it's a rescue pumper, and it's a ladder truck. The ladder truck we just purchased in November of last year was $1.5 million, for an example. Right now, if we were to order that same truck, we wouldn't touch it for $2 million. So prices of things just continue to go up. When I first got in the fire service as a chief, we were buying engines for $300,000, $350,000. Now they're $800,000 to $1 million. So a lot of costs have gone up. But this last year, our CIP went to radio upgrades and then garage door opener upgrades. The building is, I want to say it's 20 years old now and just came off of, now we own it. But you all know what happens as things go on. There's repairs and stuff that have to. The garage doors, the remotes were no longer, the receiving was no longer working, garage doors were staying open, creating higher utility bills and things like that. So we wanted to upgrade that, give a further extension on stuff, so that way, we were making sure that the doors were getting closed and automatic closers on them and stuff like that, where the other ones didn't have that one. And it was built in 2005. So, and then 3C's Pathway, Chief Schrader and I just ordered the kit.
I was an instructor.
Perfect, we need to talk. Because we just made contact with Dane County to have their folks come over and get us up and running on it. So we'd love to have you.
A little while ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
What are the 3 C's pathway?
So basically it's active threat response preparedness. I don't want to say active shooter because there's all sorts of threats that we might have to. And what it is, it's a large tabletop training. And I personally have gone through it. I've never been an instructor, but I've gone through it multiple times. I see it good not only for public safety, but even board members to have a view of like, hey, what are we doing? Understanding what we do, why we might be picking locations further away versus here or there. So yes, good opportunity for us to get together, and more than likely, if you got somebody on, they're going to be responding to something if it's happening. So
I don't know if you do this, but our chief is kind of a big deal.
No.
yes,
No.
yes. I'm starting to notice that. He did not come out and say that earlier, so. But other than that, if there's any questions that you have for me, feel free to ask. My office is always open, so if you ever have any questions, feel free to stop in and give me a shout.
So are you saying that the 3Cs pathway training is something that the board members can possibly attend?
What's that?
Is it something that the board members can possibly attend, is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't say necessarily right at the beginning, but I think it's a good process to have maybe as we get going in it and we're actively training on it just to see.
Or even observe,
Okay.
just to see what.
Yes.
Because I know I've done some training when it comes to election preparedness for threats and
Sure.
stuff like that, so it's interesting. Okay,
That could be something we would tie into here,
Yeah.
definitely.
okay.
So, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Tracy Brando, the EMS report and update.
So for the Cambridge Fire and EMS report, I had a chance to meet with Dave Schrader and then also a couple of the individuals on the commission. We will be meeting next week as an entire group to kind of look at who's going to have what role for president, secretary, treasurer, and so forth. Last week's meeting was to meet with James Small. He is a rural EMS outreach program coordinator. And the focus of James Small is to come on board to the Cambridge Commission to help kind of facilitate maybe bringing back Oakland into the commission and maybe revitalizing a few of the pieces that maybe where there are some broken pieces within the commission. I'm going to be very, very transparent to say I have a lot to learn. It is going to be a learning curve for myself with the commission, but I'm looking forward to joining the commission and seeing where my resources and connections can help maybe put some of this back together again. I think there's some budget and some line items that need some attention, and hopefully we can get started on that next week. When I did meet with the individuals this last week from the town of Rockdale, and also with Dave, with Mr. Schrader, there was some discussion that the 2015 ambulance, they used to have 3 ambulances and they only need 2, and there was discussion on the sale of that 3rd ambulance, and that was recommended that we do look at approving the sale of that 3rd ambulance. So I know when we get to new business, there is that line item. So I do not have a lot to report tonight, but what I do have, I feel like we're going to move in a hopeful, positive direction, and with the help of this Mr. Small and the consultant. So that is what I have for tonight.
All right.
When you said they have 3 ambulances, is that Lake Mills Fire or is that Cambridge?
That is Cambridge. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Tracy. Joint Rock Lake Committee report. I don't think he's here tonight.
I'm on the committee, but I wasn't inclined to say something. So, give you an update, and the biggest thing that we did was a couple weeks ago, worked on cleaning up the parks and also the beach area, collected a lot of reeds, and the city came by and picked them all up. We also have a new member, Shelley Quant, who joined, and I guess you're on the further down on the agenda, some more discussion on others because there is one seat that's still open in town. So,
And Shelley, I'm assuming is the secretary, because I received minutes from her.
yeah, we were some discussion of our positions. We were going to figure that out at our next meeting.
But she just
as well.
happened to take the
But
minutes
she
this
just
time.
happened to take
Okay.
the minutes at that
Right.
last meeting, yes.
And I've got them. I'm trying to remember if I forwarded, because I think they came in over the weekend.
I didn't see
Okay.
them, so that's
That
okay.
was my error. All right.
That's just so you know, moving forward, that everyone's on the same page. You know, it's not required that they have a report. They just provide their minutes moving forward. So you
Unless there's
guys,
something specific.
unless there's
Yeah.
a specific recommendation.
And Pat did mention that at our last meeting, something about the process, and
Yeah.
he had talked about, I guess, some of that.
Yeah, you guys volunteered your time already to meet with a separate committee, so unless there's a specific recommendation, then we're looking at just having the meeting minutes to review before this meeting, so. Thank you, though, for stepping up. Town chair report, city, county, state communications, just starting here locally. Rock Lake Road construction project has started, and will last based on Payne and Dolan's schedule to have it done by 4th of July. We'll see how that goes. The contract has to be completed by September 1st. Sharon informed me they're already moving trucks down the road. So we'll stay on top of that to see where they're going. We fixed several potholes in the last couple weeks. Probably will see several more coming. I've actually reached out and communicating with Corey to see if we can find a more permanent solution for some of these so that we can help elongate between road repairs so that we don't have to pothole as much. Miljala launch, I did talk to the Jefferson County Land and Water group over there. They're going to be providing some free assistance with engineering to ensure that we don't continue to have some ice damage on the shoreline. They're going to try to help with giving us a report on that.
You're talking about Majala Park?
Yeah.
'Cause it's not technically a launch, at least not as of right now. Okay.
Thanks for clarifying that. Yes, the park.
You threw me for a second.
There was a whole bunch of dirt that got pushed up and trying to make sure that that doesn't happen in the future. They offered that service. I made sure it was free. North End launch is mostly completed, just waiting on the piers from the manufacturer in the installation. I talked to the contractor. They can meet out there the same day to make sure that it's installed quickly. They said it will be completed sometime the week of May 19th. They don't have an exact date yet, but I'll stay on top of that to ensure that we get an exact date. Both piers at Elm Point and Ferry Park are in and being used. And just a side note, the city piers are in as well, as we're painfully waiting for the North End piers to be done. At least there's options for people to go to. Just a side note, I noticed the city doesn't have bumpers, so I'm gonna follow up with those guys. There's no bumpers on any of their stuff. Happened to see that this last weekend. I thought that was kind of odd. So I'll follow up with them on that. I did have a sit-down meeting with Drake with the city. He congratulates us on our new elected roles and is looking forward to working with us. There are several things that we discussed in that note, in that meeting. The biggest thing that we had talked about, it's probably been most pressing for the town of Lake Mills people, was the yard waste. They're still having delays on how they want to allow access, whether it's electronic, whether it's code, or is it a fob. They're trying to figure that out, but it's slow moving at the end of CP there to be able to figure that out. Also, we had the county help us out with a couple signs that were damaged, and even down by Ferry Park there was one that was pretty badly damaged. And they were able to straighten them up and get them straight for us. At the state level, I didn't have many communications except for I went to the legislative breakfast at Jefferson County. The hot item is the AWIP funding on their biannual was $150 million, and that's where we get a lot of our road grant funding that we could do as discretionary grants. As of now, the budget went from 150 down to 50 million. So that is the entire state to be able to pull from in a biannual, down to 50 million. Hopefully that changes. Based on the legislative breakfast, everybody was very angry and upset about that, and how we can try to get additional funds to help fix our roadways. So, yeah, that's the report as of now. We enter our period of public comment. This is, please keep it to 3 minutes, and greatly appreciate you stepping up.
My name is Margaret Krieger, West 8170 Elm Point Road. I was just wondering about the budgetary obligations for the township in regard to the EMS Cambridge thing, where because Oakland pulled out, that left the other 4 townships with, some obligations. And I was just wondering about the monetary obligation for the township as we, in the past and as we go forward. And I also have to say that I'm very happy that you're doing something about the waste issue, because I have like 5.5 bags of reeds that came up on my shoreline, and I have nowhere to go with them. I contacted the town and the Johns, and the next pickup is November 1. I can't just dump it on my neighbors. We have the area across the street is privately owned. I can't dump it there, so I have nowhere to go with it, and they're sitting there in the bag. So I'm glad you're doing something about that. Thank you.
This is for any topics?
Yeah, love comment. Yeah.
So, Dan Varnish, live at West 81, 29 Manchester Lane. Me and some of my neighbors have been monitoring County B, and it's a big walking way from, Tyronita Park all the way to Polo, Shorewood. And the speed limit is, changes quite from coming out of town 25 to 30 or 35 to 30, back to 45 before Shorewood. And oftentimes that means people are going, 10 to 15 miles over that speed limit as well. And I'm wondering if there's a way that we can, decrease that speed limit and maybe keep it consistent all the way from the town, all the way from the city, from like Tyronita Park, either 25 or 30, all the way out to Shorewood at least. But I was thinking Polo, because there's so much more residential growth out that way. And I know this probably involves lots of different layers of the county, sheriff's department, highway department. I know there's probably lots of layers that are involved in that. But I've seen 2 dogs get killed on B in the last 10 years. There's lots of kids that are also crossing over to the lake from those houses that are there. Lots of joggers, lots of bikers. And I just think, when people are see the 30, 35 speed limit, they're already going 11 over. So I don't know if there's something we can address in the future, but concern of many of me and my neighbors that live along B. So, thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you. Moving on to applications. Discuss the request made by Gordon and Karen Martin, the Martin Trust, for the land division to divide the farmland at W9282 Hope Lake Road, parcel 0180713 323300 and 0220613 052200. Is there any additional discussion that we need on that? If not, can I get a motion to approve the request made by Gordon and Karen Martin for the Martin Trust and the Land Division to divide the farmland at W9288 Hope Lake Road?
So moved.
Second?
Okay. It's been seconded for the Gordon and Karen Martin, Martin Trust Land Division for the farmland at W9282 Hope Lake Road. Is there any additional discussion needed? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carries for the approval of the request made by Gordon and Karen Martin and the Martin Trust for the Land Division to divide farmland at W9282 Hope Lake Road.
Okay, and I'll get Kyle's signatures at the end of the meeting, and then I'll scan those documents in and send them to the county. You'll still need to contact the county to make sure you get on their agenda for their meeting. Do you do email at all? Do you want me to email it over to you? What is Before you go, let's make sure I get your email address, okay?
The other application is the request made by Tuhig Trust for a lot line adjustment at W 9035 County Trunk Highway B, Waterloo, Wisconsin, parcel 018-0713-0842-000. Any discussion on that?
Not needed. This is just a correction to make up for something that was done improperly by a contractor, and they're trading land. The land is zoned the same in both cases, and two adjacent ownerships are trading land that occupy exactly the same amount of square footage.
So the plan commission didn't need to take any action on it?
We did not. We
Okay.
just recommended approval.
Great.
Okay.
Can I get a motion to approve the request made by Tuhig Trust for a lot line adjustment at W 9035 County Trunk Highway B, Waterloo, Wisconsin?
So moved.
Second?
All right, it has been moved to approve the request by Tuhig Trust for lot line adjustment at W 9035 County Trunk Highway B, Waterloo, Wisconsin. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carries to approve the request made by Tuhig Trust on the lot line adjustment at W 9035 County Trunk Highway B, Waterloo, Wisconsin. Next item is discussion request made by NL Enterprises for rezone and parcel split of 15 acres from A1 to Natural Resources zone.
This is A1 land right now that's not farmed, and I think NL Enterprises is purchasing this, is that correct?
I'm purchasing it from them.
Oh, you're purchasing it, okay.
Yeah, is planning on purchasing it. Both lots that are being created are legal lots, and there's a request to change this from A1 to N. The chair of the Plan Commission recommended that this be approved, and the Plan Commission approved it, or recommended that it get approved.
Okay.
Did we get an address on that?
Actually,
9?
I don't think the parcel itself has an actual address, so.
It'll just be part of.
Yeah, so it has a
Yeah.
parcel number, yeah.
So what's up to my current property, N7115 North Shore Road, Town.
so can I get a motion to approve the request made by NL Enterprises for the rezone and parcel split of 15 acres from A1 to Natural Resources on North Shore Road?
So moved.
Second?
Alrighty, it has been moved to approve the request made by NL Enterprises for rezone and parcel split of 15 acres from A1 to Natural Resources on North Shore Road. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries for the approval of the request made by NL Enterprises for rezone and parcel split of 15 acres from A1 to Natural Resources.
Anything else will go to down.
Yeah, so I'll email it out. I think I have your email address, so I'll make sure you're copied in what I send. Normally I would just send it to Charles, but yeah, I'll make sure you're taken on too. Yeah.
Can I just ask a general question? It just said, for information. So once it's zoned, natural resources can never go back?
I think
That's
you
a
can
county
change the
road.
zoning on it if you request it.
It
I think
can?
that came up last week that I could sell it back to them and they could potentially,
But even if you wanted to have it zoned back to A1, could you?
I don't, Charles will be the guy to ask, I don't think
Yeah.
so, that's why we're doing it to natural.
Okay, I just was wondering
It's
about
just,
that.
it's not even farmable land, it's just all marshland, so.
Sure.
It's not.
Yeah, it looks from the map, it looks pretty,
It's, yeah, it's, if it's not wet, it's like an old gravel pit, basically, that was over there, so it's not farmable land.
yeah, I was just curious if that's allowable.
Yeah, I think
or-
that's the reason why he's not just like sectioning it off as they want, is because it needs to be reconfigured or something. I don't know.
It's good for UTV trails and mudding, right?
If that, it's.
Hunting, maybe? Hunting?
Hunting, yeah, if I can clear the path. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get to it.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. Old business, discussion and decision on appointments to vacancies of Town Park Committee, Joint Rock Lake Committee, and Cambridge and Fire EMS Commission. We'll address each one of these individually. We had the openings on Joint Rock Lake. I reached out to Daniel Smith based on the data that I had. He has not responded.
He hasn't been to the last 2 or 3 meetings.
But
Yeah,
his term is ended.
so his term is
So-
ended. So, we actually had 2 applicants. This one kind of came in last minute, Lee Peterson, but I knew he was coming in last minute. Lee Peterson and Terry Strike. I don't know if you have that.
I don't, thank
Okay.
you.
Yep. So I guess I would ask if I can get a motion to approve Terry Strike to the Joint Rock Lake Committee as an appointee.
So moved.
Second?
Sorry, can I have the name again?
Terry Strike, S-T-R-E-I-C-H.
Yep.
They live on the north end.
Just off of Park Lane,
Yep.
kind of that little small side road off of Park Lane.
Okay.
On the lake.
It is moved for Terry Strike to be approved to join the Rock Lake Committee and be appointed there. Is there any further discussion? Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries to appoint Terry Strike to the Joint Rock Lake Committee. Second appointee would be Lee Peterson. He lives in the Sherwood Hills neighborhood. He's actually had some other board experience as
He was
well.
a supervisor on the town board here for
There
a
you
while,
go.
yeah.
So he's familiar with some of our processes and expectations. So is there a motion to approve Lee Peterson to the Joint Rock Lake Committee?
So moved.
Second?
It is moved to appoint Lee Peterson to the Joint Rock Lake Committee to fill those seats. Is there any further discussion?
Did we have 2 vacant seats
was
from the
Dan
town?
Smith.
I think
Out of
Dan
the
was
3?
done, so that would make 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
and both
so-
of these terms ended this year anyways, so
Yep.
they will have 2 two-year full terms.
And so do we have all 3 town positions filled now?
Yes. we
Correct.
do.
With this appointment? Thank you. That's my only question.
And I will get in contact with them and get their oaths taken care of and give them the onboarding document packet, so.
Great. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carries to appoint Lee Peterson to the Joint Rock Lake Committee for a 2-year term, so filling our seats. Moving to the Town Park Committee, we actually had one in question, Rick Sapp. I did talk to him. He is wanting to continue his efforts and work on the Town Park Committee, so there's no appointing needed on that one. But we got a 2-for-1 deal with Pam Strike, who submitted her request to join the Parks Committee and is excited to help out and be a part of that committee. So is there a motion to appoint Pam Strike to the Town of Lake Mills Parks Committee?
So moved.
Second?
It's moved for appointing Pam Strike to the Town of Lake Mills Park Committee. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries to appoint Pam Strike to the Town of Lake Mills Park Committee.
Now, I do believe in the past, Tom was on that committee, so I think there's still one more spot.
I did talk to Tom. He's willing to stay on that.
He's only saying,
Yeah.
okay.
Thanks for-
And I know Jason said that they're gonna try and get a meeting set up pretty
Yep.
soon here, so I'll get them rolling again.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have made note of that. With Tom, I did wrangle him a little bit.
Is this Tom Buckel?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because his term doesn't end until July of '26.
Public Works,
That one's taken care of.
the only one that was
Cambridge Fire.
Cambridge Fire.
Yeah.
Yes. I guess Tracy, I'm gonna call on you to see if you were able to recruit anyone for your assistance in that.
Oh, we needed one more person?
No.
No, you don't have to.
She's taking the role.
You're taking the role.
Oh, okay.
We appointed you last time.
Oh, okay.
No,
We did not.
we did not because she could not make.
Oh, that's right, we didn't have a quorum.
We
Oh,
didn't-
yes.
right. Yeah, we had a
okay.
quorum, but we
Okay,
didn't
sorry
have the
about
members
that.
to
Yep,
vote.
you're right.
Yeah, because she has to abstain from voting for herself.
Okay.
Got it. Can I get a motion to approve Tracy Brandel as our Lake Mills Fire Department Advisory Committee, Lake Mills and Cambridge Fire Committee, Commission.
For the Cambridge Fire Commission.
Yeah, for the
EMS.
Cambridge.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get this right.
So moved.
I second it.
Okay,
Any further discussion?
hold on 1 second. I'll get
Oh,
cut off.
sorry.
Okay, and then.
It is
probably-
moved for approval for Tracy Brandel to be the Cambridge Fire and EMS Commission Committee. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All
And then you
opposed?
abstained, right?
Who's
I did not
abstaining?
say a word.
You
Oh.
abstained,
She
correct?
abstained.
Correct,
Yes.
I
Okay.
abstained.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion carries for the approval of Tracy Brandel to the Cambridge Fire and EMS Commission.
Perfect, okay.
All right, new business, discussion and/or decision of the sale of the 2015 Ford F-450 ambulance number 92 by the Cambridge Fire and EMS Commission.
As I mentioned, I had a chance to meet with a couple of the individuals last week on the Cambridge Fire Commission. And there was a discussion, Dave Schrader as well as the individual from Rockdale had mentioned that they're looking to sell the 2015 ambulance number 92. It is currently in Dave Schrader's shed. It has been, I got a tour of it, it's meticulously kept, and they are looking to sell it because it is no longer needed. There was a purchase of another ambulance in place of this ambulance, and the need for 3 is just not needed. And so they would like to sell this ambulance, and there is a ambulance, and I don't know the name of it, here in Lake Mills. There is a fire service. Yes, fire service, I'm sorry, thank you for, here in Lake Mills, that they would like to utilize as far as, they're gonna contract them to go over just to make sure everything is working properly, and potentially use them as a resource for any other local, emergency services that could be looking for an ambulance, because it seems to be in very, very good shape. So, speaking with the town of Rockdale and then the other folks that are on the commission now, their townships were in favor of selling this third ambulance 92 as well. So that is it's not a lot of information that I have, but it was recommended by their townships as well, so.
No, I would assume they're going through an auction process, because with town equipment or commission equipment, I believe it has to go through an auction.
That was not mentioned to me.
Or receive bids for it.
That could be. I know that they were gonna talk with the folks downtown here in Lake Mills as far as,
And you might have information on how that works too. How do you go about disposing of?
So we just happened to sell our third engine, 8863. When did we sell that? Either way, doesn't matter. what we did is, we did not want to use a third party who was going to take the commission off of it. No offense to them, but it's dollars out of your own pocket. So what we did is we wanted to give an opportunity to a state department here. We put it out through the Wisconsin State Fire Chiefs, and lo and behold, we received, I believe it was 4 bids. They were sealed bids. We got what we felt was a fair price for that engine. As I had explained earlier, prices on things are going up. I'm sure that there's somebody who's probably going to be in the market for something such as that. It might take a unique or special department that's maybe something catastrophic happened to one that they currently have and they're looking for that backup vehicle. So I think there's opportunity for that, and I think that you'd get a fair market price on it. The other option is Wisconsin State Surplus. That's a very common one to use, and we sold our ladder truck on that, the old ladder truck, the 37-year-old one, and we got what we felt was a fair price on that as well. So those are 2 options. Everything that we do as a city, we take in sealed bids
Right,
and go with that.
and that's the legal way to dispose of
Unless we're doing
equipment.
the auction.
Right,
And there, everybody has the opportunity to bid on it, and it's a fair way to.
I would assume that the commission members, or at least the legal counsel of the commission would know that, but I figured to share the information, how they do theirs would be good.
Right, I know that it's on the agenda for next week's meeting that we have on Wednesday night.
Yeah,
So-
we've used the Wisconsin auction
Yeah.
for pieces of ours as well.
Yeah, we
It's gone
just
well.
sold the boat through them. so.
Yeah, so,
Chief, I know this equipment is meticulously maintained. What's the expected life of a fire truck or an ambulance?
So throughout my career, when I was running ambulance services or geared with the fire department, normally what we would look at, and it all depends on how busy the department is. My standard was to run a new ambulance for 7 years. At 7 years, it goes into secondary response. You purchase a new one. That one then would ride its life out until about 14, 15 years old. And then that cycle just keeps turning over, depending on how busy you are, how many miles you're putting on. For an area like Cambridge, the call volume that they have, the biggest thing for them is going to be the distance that you're running to a hospital. It's a lot different when you're the city of Madison and you're literally running 2-3 miles to the hospital. Here you're running 20-30 miles to get to a hospital. So you're adding up a lot more miles on those vehicles, so that could skew your new purchase to reserve to final sale type of a model. I don't know the exact numbers that Cambridge ran during the time frame, but that was my basis to how I would.
What about fire equipment?
We follow NFPA standards. NFPA standards basically looks at a fire vehicle for 20 years, and then it should go into what's called a reserve status. NFPA is a standard. It's not law, it's not an ordinance, but if something happens, it's what they're going to hold you to, is to scrutinize you to why is this vehicle still in. Prime example was the ladder truck we just sold. She was a 37-year-old prom queen. For 37 years old, she was in beautiful condition, but there's things that just deteriorate around it. The reason that one came up for sale or for the immediate need to replace, which there was a little bit of contention with that one, was the idea that it failed its ladder test. So every so many years, every year, our vehicles go through certain tests, pump testing, service testing, those types of things. Ladders go through different ladder service testing, and then every 5 years it's a non-destructive testing where they actually take a magnet and they look for cracks that are inside of the metal that you don't see. So there's a lot of testing that goes into it, and that's really what stretches our vehicles out like that. So we're held to that NFPA standard is what we really go by.
Thank you very much.
Likewise, appreciate that. I guess is there a motion to agree to sell that ambulance number 92?
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved for the approval of the sale for the 2015 Ford F-450 ambulance number 92 by the Cambridge Fire and EMS Commission. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries to approve the sale of the ambulance number 92 by the Cambridge Fire and EMS Commission. The last item on the new business is just really a discussion of expectations for the town committees. As we've appointed several people. Some others are going to be on there. There's been change. I just wanted to reiterate the importance, starting with the Joint Rock Lake Committee. The importance of this committee is really coordinating between the City of Lake Mills, the DNR, and making sure as they change policies, more so the DNR who changes policies, that we're on top of those types of things as a committee, and we're relaying that information if decisions or recommendations, are needed from the town board, and really trying to manage the public and private interests of the recreational and navigation interests and activities within the town of Lake Mills, and obviously with the Joint Rock Lake of the City of Lake Mills. It is our committee as the town, so we want to make sure that we that's why we have 3 members that we've allotted funds to do that, to make sure that we stay on par with our constituents, to make sure it's making sense for our public interests. Shifting gears to the Planning Commission, they've been in business for quite some time now, so I don't really need to reiterate. They do a great job. Just want to say thanks to John for joining that commission and continuing its great work. They got a raise, so they should be happy.
And they've always acted as a recommendation or sort of that first review of every zoning application or conditional use permit variances that come through to do the footwork for the town board before it gets to the town board level, so.
Yeah. Then to the Parks Committee. We don't have a ton of parks in the town, but we do have some, and it's important that we maintain the cleanliness and public access to them. We have the one playground in Shoreward Hills that we maintain, and we just want to make sure that those things are getting taken care of for the general public, and making sure that our town continues to look wonderful with the parks that we provide. There are a couple areas that I think this committee can definitely improve upon, and that's the regular meetings, and it sounds like they're off to a good start already, and making sure that our town parks are continued to be maintained and taken care of, whether it's removing of trash, removing of brush, those types of things that we get taken care of. So again, if there is something that they need to make a recommendation to the board, that is their purpose, to bring that to us as a town board, and make sure that the committee is doing its work in the field and within the community, to make sure that we have beautiful parks for everyone to enjoy. So any other discussions on those or recommendations on the committee? Item 13, the correspondence.
Just a couple items. I got a notice, a public hearing from the City of Lake Mills in regards to the addition that they're going to be doing onto the elementary school, just because we're close proximity there. And I just want to remind people about the revaluation that's occurring in the town for the assessment, which means we probably won't see the notices go out to the property owners until September. We're going to have a kind of a quick turnaround to hold open book and board review.
Sure.
And then, because then we have to have that set and the assessment set in order to calculate what our budget's going to be in taxes and such. So it's going to be kind of crunch time this fall to really fit this all in, but people should expect to start seeing notices in September if they have any changes in their assessments.
I did learn today we can push that off.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you learned a little bit.
Yeah, I did.
It's good. That's all I
We
have for
can push the
correspondence.
assessments up?
No, the
no.
decision with the budget and how the levy works and until the
Okay.
assessment's done,
Okay.
we can.
We don't want to
adjourn.
get too far off because that
Agreed,
throws
because of the
everything
budget.
else off.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But if we have to adjourn it to another date.
Yes,
it's in our
in fact,
legal
we
right.
will have to do that. At the next meeting, we should convene the board review and then
Adjourn it to a later date.
table it to a later date.
Yep.
So that part, the legal aspects of that is done. It seems kind of weird, but it's what we have to
It is
legally
weird,
do.
yeah. I was in that meeting today and it was an educational thing and that stumped a lot of people. They just couldn't wrap their head around it.
Yeah.
Discussion for future agenda items?
I have some other correspondence.
Nope, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
Let's see, I had people contact me wondering why the piers weren't in for open fishing day. And I was just wondering, is there a standard for that? Does the township, I don't know who puts them
Normally,
in?
they are in by May
Yeah.
1st, because that's
Okay.
when we do start collecting the launch fees. This year is a little bit of a hiccup because of the North End project, and that snowballed the effects of the other two launches due to the North End's old piers being repurposed into a functioning pier for one of the other launches. And then
Okay.
that launch's pier being sent to Endpoint. So it's kind of a, normally, they are all ready to go by May 1st.
Okay, and who does that work? Who puts them in?
Oh, Joe Cooper used to, but I think the
Because
piers are-
yeah, Joe had done that in the past, but this one was done by Sunset Marine.
Yeah.
Because they had the other pier
At the north
from
end.
the north end, basically made a full pier out of it. And then they had to drive the post in that one, so.
Right.
And then since they were doing that, they took
They
the
did
other
the
one down to
others.
Elm Point right away,
Okay.
so.
We will
And-
have to probably make sure we know what's happening in the future
Yes.
for those. Yes.
They also had some internal change at that company's, which could have led to some of the delays.
Okay.
I did talk, we have a new contact. We had Travis, I believe it was, and now it's Nicole. And now I've pestered them enough that they know my phone number. So I tried to get them there for fishing, of course, but just,
Okay.
it was a snowball effect of what happened on the north end for sure.
There were also some parts that were delayed of some sorts. I thought I heard something of that.
Say that again?
Some parts or something that was delayed.
For the pier itself, they couldn't start fabricating it until we had the approved plans. So that was until we actually signed off on things. That was just as Tom was leaving. He signed that as one of the last things he did as a town board. That's when they started fabrication. So that does take some time because they're custom built for the north end. Yeah.
And then I had someone else contact me, came to my house to discuss the work at Miljala Channel. And in my opinion, he was misinformed. I think what was approved by the previous board was that they would hire our consulting engineer to fill out a permit application or do the work for a permit for the Miljala Channel. But there was no approval by the board to actually do the work within the road right-of-way at the Miljala Channel. In other words, muck that out all the way up to that barrier and replace that barrier. I don't believe the board approved all that work.
That work is not, I think it has to be bidded out, or there has to be some sort of process in order to get a contract in place. And I don't think we're quite there yet because the engineering part of it still has to be finished
Correct. And the only part that was going to be done was on Cedar Lane
within the road right of way up to
to the barrier.
yeah, to the curtain.
But even that's not going to be done. The permit is what's going to be done, the permit
Correct.
application. That's what the
Yeah.
board approved.
Yes.
And that's it.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Which is what I informed him of.
Thank you. Yeah.
I just want to make sure I was accurate on it.
You reminded me of one, by the way.
Okay.
I fixed the speed limit sign. That was. the
I saw it was fixed.
Yeah.
I was going 6 miles an hour on my bike. I'm like, oh, I think
did.
it's reading me.
It was there's a GFI outlet in there and it
Okay.
was tripped. So
Okay. Well, that person would have been happy about that because
Yes.
it was concerning.
I did let him know. So we're good.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I think I was standing on the back of my truck that morning and backed up to the post, so I was tall enough to reach, so I got lucky.
Boy.
Moving on to the discussion of future agenda items.
Okay. Okay, so a board review, push off date, we'll have to adjourn
Yep.
or
Yep.
convene as the board review and then push the date back.
Who's on that board, just you or?
All of us, except for
All of
Sharon.
us.
All of
Except for
us.
Sharon.
We act
Yep.
as the board review members, yeah.
And what do we do at that meeting?
I'm gonna send a packet of information out and link to a couple videos I think will help sort of be examples of how it all functions. We basically act as sort of like the judge. When people have an objection to their assessments, they come in and present their case to us.
Okay, it's
The assessor
assessment.
presents their case, and then we have to kind of decide if who's correct by law and
Okay.
go that way. Yeah.
Okay,
Robin
that's
will
what the
have
board
it.
of review is for, assessments that are coming up.
For assessments that people would like to object to, yes.
And
Yeah, there's a
did you
whole
say
legal
earlier
process.
that those assessments weren't going to be completed till September?
Right, which is why we have to push off board of review, the actual physical meeting in which we review these objections, because people won't know to object until those notices are received.
Thank you.
If they feel the need to.
Thank
We just
you.
have to extend that. We have to make this process happen before June 11th
Right,
Of 26?
of 2025. We just have to
Push the date back.
Push the date back.
yeah.
So
Okay,
there is a statute on that.
Oh, there's a lot of legalities when it comes to board review. And thankfully, they give us a whole script to follow word for word, so we don't mess it up.
Yeah.
So,
There is some resources as well on the Wisconsin Town Associations. If you guys have gotten hooked up with your login on that.
did you receive a letter in the mail with
You
the
should
login
have-
information
You
yet?
should have got some info in the mail.
Either of you?
I received the letter for the meeting, but I have not received anything else on that.
Okay. If you don't receive it or don't feel like you haven't, let me know for sure, like check your mail, whatever you need to do.
Yeah,
and
I've
then-
been pretty diligent about anything that's come for the
Okay.
town board
Have you
looking.
received anything?
not that I know of in the mail.
Okay.
It
And
would
will
come-
I may have received one piece of paper in the mail.
Okay, it will come in the mail. Have you received your town's magazine in the mail yet?
No.
Kyle, did you?
Yes.
Okay, so some reason you're getting it and you two aren't. So I
I
will
did not.
contact them and make sure they have your information to send those things out. Because Towns Association website has a lot of resources on
Huh.
it and it's kind of in the background, so you need to log in.
Yeah, I went to the website to look around and just, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
look through things. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
But there is even a whole procedure on the Board of Review.
Okay.
And that
Yeah.
process in there.
Yeah.
So it could be something, you can look that up.
Okay.
But yeah,
I have another question, as long as we're together. I think you responded to me. I sent you an email about the Gmail link. Did you want me to do that?
I'm still waiting for Mackenzie to answer on that. I just wanted to confirm whether or not that was the correct thing to do for the forwarding or not,
Okay.
before I had to do it, because I wasn't aware he was gonna have you have to approve something, because he was telling me step by step everything, but
Okay.
this has been a long process getting these
Did you
emails set
get
up.
that as well?
he actually texted me and said, "Don't click the link, I'll take care of it."
Okay.
Did you
Okay.
get it? Did you get it? To make sure
That's
of
what I
that.
wondered.
So he had to work on the back end to get that forwarding properly.
Right.
So
Okay.
I would wait for his
All right.
response to make
Yes.
sure
Fine.
it's good to go.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad he knows what he's doing, because this is like,
Yeah.
for agenda items, we'll have to have the approval of liquor licenses next month's. And what I do is I'll put together a packet of everything you're gonna be reviewing and approving. This is a complicated one because you have to prove the different combo license of liquor and malt together. You have to prove the operator's licenses, or actually change that. I can actually prove most of those. The non-intoxicating license and the cigarette and tobacco and vape license. So it's a little more complex for motions. Maybe I'll try and put a cheat sheet together for you guys.
How many licenses will be looking at?
We have 3 establishments that require licenses. It used to be 5, so it's gone down quite a bit.
Do we still have open ones that are available?
1.
One.
Yeah, and I've heard just recently that the truck stop might be being sold, and I have had no notification of that from the owners. So I'm not sure if that's true or not, but we also did not have notification of that last time it was sold. We don't until after it's done, and then they're like, well, we want to sell liquor, and they don't have a license in place. So, yeah,
It's good that we have it on the agenda then.
yeah. But there's certain notifications that have to be done like 30
Right.
days, 15 days in advance,
Are
so,
these approved annually?
yes, always. They run from July 1st all the way through to June 30th of each year, so that's when you do the annual redo. I always aim for the June meeting for those approvals so that they're ready by July 1st, because I send them out to them.
Thank you.
Yep. Those are the only things I can think of for reviewing liquor licenses. Unless you have something else.
Anything else for the agenda?
All the appointments are taken care of, so.
Yep.
Okay.
Alright. Future scheduled meetings, June 3rd is the Planning Commission at 7 PM at the Town Hall here. June 12th, Joint Rock Lake Committee meeting at the city at 6 PM. And then June 10th will be our next month board meeting here at the Town Hall.
And we will add the May 29th meeting for the fire, if I have the date right, 29th.
Yeah, you have to give notification, right?
Are all of you planning on attending that one?
The quarterly meeting, I don't know.
The 29th, potentially. I gotta come back from Detroit, so
Okay.
we'll see.
I have it on my calendar.
Okay,
So that may not be an issue, but
great. It's always good to know whether they need to post it or not.
Yeah.
so.
Robin, you discussed a training for new boards? Well, before we were even, whatever it's called, sat for the first time or
Okay.
whatever? And you recommended that we take it?
Right, I think that's something the Towns Association puts on. That's what
yes.
you went to today.
I just went to
believe.
one today.
Yeah.
There's several others. I think there's one in Fond du Lac, and then there's another one, there's a couple others that
Yeah,
are dates
that's-
coming up. It was a full day of all of this and open records,
Yeah.
open meetings.
And that's where I wish you would have gotten the books, because it's in there, in those magazines from the Towns
Okay.
Associations. And
Okay.
It explains why you weren't privy to
Yeah.
that, because you didn't get
Okay.
it, so.
Okay.
Actually, I think I have the dates in here.
All right,
so.
thank
We're
you.
working on getting that information to
Yeah.
you.
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Meeting adjourned.